said they would bring peace. When they said they'd find us someone back in the all our disease. When they said they house the homeless and brought black and white too. When they said they'd be a hungry child, and I hope it's someday soon. They said they'd stop the party, and they said they would bring peace. And they said they'd find us a rum that they'd cure all our disease. And they said they'd house the homeless and put black and white too. And they said they'd be a hungry child, and I hope it's someday soon.
Welcome to you here in this place today, and to those who are live streaming with us from far away. When I met the other day with Dawn and Michelle and Kevin and Kendon, their beautiful grandson, we were, or at least I was, struggling to, as we were sharing, to think of a theme for this day. And sitting beside me was a book that had been at Val's bedside in the hospital, and it was kind of open to something that Dawn told me that Val really liked. So here is the theme for today, and it's from Val. To be what we are and to become what we are capable of becoming is the only end in life. What a wonderful way to begin this celebration. And Valerie's name implies this too. I mean, Valerie comes from the Latin, meaning strong and brave and fierce, and my goodness, I encountered that fierce eye, and I know Dawn did. But it also, Helen, radiant. Is that not radiant? A light that enters your life. Who here didn't feel uplifted when Val wandered in? So today, I call you to gather in a way that you will remember if you are old enough, and if you are a teacher, you will remember. We are gathered. Donald, if you would come, please.
My first words are wow. Thank you so much for coming. It's so good to see so many of you here. So I say thank you to you for all the visits, the phone calls, the emails, the cards that have been given to Val and my family. Val has won her fight with cancer and is now pain-free. And I believe she now is in peace, and that's great. I want to give special thanks today to Reverend Robin Mather, to the ethical care people who have looked after all these arrangements, to their staff, Shane, and the ladies that have been looking after the food and setting the room up. I thank you very much. Also thanks to our daughter, Michelle, who has arranged our memory center. So please take time to look at that. Also thanks to our son-in-law, Kevin, for all his support and planning of the photo loop, and for arranging the music and chosen the songs today. Thanks also to the very kind words from Ackman Management and our condo board. And believe it or not, that's all I'm going to say. So I'll let you take over. Thank you.
Heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. You don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on her beauty and the moonlight overthrew ya. Well, she tied you to her kitchen chair. She broke your throne and cut your hair, and from your lips she drew hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Baby, I've been here before. I've seen this room and I've walked the floor. Used to live alone before I knew ya. But I've seen your flag on the marble arch. Our love is not a victory march. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. 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 Maybe there's a God above, but all I've ever learned from love was how to shoot somebody who outdrew ya. It's not a cry that you hear at night. It's not someone who's seen the light. It's a cold and broken hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Val had members of her family who loved her dearly, as her friends and colleagues did. And we have several people here this afternoon to speak to us. And the first person is Natasha Shack, who is a cousin of Val. Natasha?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Natasha, and I'll call myself Val's niece, even though technically I was a first cousin. Val and my mum, Doreen, were first cousins, but I always thought of her as an aunt. I'm here today because I had the privilege of having Dawn ask me to share a few passages from a book that was meaningful to them. This book has already been mentioned. Val's nephew, Matt, will later share from the same book. Shortly before Val was hospitalized, I understand that Dawn happened across this book while the two of them were helping a friend move. The book is called Random Acts of Kindness. How fitting. When Val was in hospital, he sat by her bed and read to her from it. As suggested by the title, the book is a collection of short tales of random acts of kindness and the life lessons that can be gleaned from performing them. The book was meaningful to them, not only because its anecdotes brought her joy, but also because it spoke to her general philosophy. Val was a person who touched others by her everyday acts of kindness. Michelle also mentioned to me some specific life lessons she learned from her mom. That perfection lies in our imperfections, that having fun is the only way to get things done, and that difference is beautiful. A passage from the book reads, I had a client who owed me a good deal of money. Eventually she stopped seeing me, but each month I would send her a bill and receive no response. Finally, I wrote to her and said, I don't know what difficulty has befallen you that you're unable to pay me, but whatever it is, I'm writing to tell you your debt is forgiven in full. My only request is that at some point in your life, when your circumstances have changed, you'll pass this favor on to someone else. The book inspires readers to practice their own random acts of kindness by offering suggestions such as sending a letter to a teacher you had to let them know the difference they made in your life, and saying thank you to someone who helps you and really mean it. Look into their eyes, smile, and if they're wearing a name tag, say their name as well. As an aside, Michelle told me that any time Val received great service, she went out of her way to thank a manager. And mention the person, of course. The book also includes a quote from Irish playwright George Bernard Shaw. I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the community, and as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. Life is no brief candle to me. It's a sort of splendid torch, which I have got hold of for a moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations. I think we can all agree that Val's splendid torch burned very brightly indeed. Finally, the book notes that every reader, in this case, every one of us here today, has loved someone, has done someone a kindness, has healed a wound, has taken on a challenge, has created something beautiful, and has enjoyed breathing the air of existence. The book reminds us to never doubt how precious, how vitally important we all are. Every moment we have a chance to make a difference. So maybe next time you do something nice for someone for no reason, take a moment and think of Val.
It's coming on Christmas, they're cutting down trees, they're putting up reindeer, singing songs of joy and peace. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on, but it don't snow here, it stays pretty green. I'm gonna make a lot of money, and then I'm gonna quit this crazy scene. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to fly. Wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby cry. He tried hard to help me. Made me weak in the knees. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. Well, I'm so hard to handle, I'm selfish and I'm sad. Now I've gone and lost the best baby that I ever had. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. Oh, I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to fly. Oh, I wish I had a river that I could skate away on. Made my baby say goodbye. It's coming on Christmas, cutting down trees, they're putting up reindeer, singing songs of joy and peace. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on.
Thank you, Natasha. Now, Matthew Patrician is going to come and address us, and Matthew is one of Val's nephews. Matthew?
So I spoke with Don about a week ago, and he gave me this book. And I started reading it, and it does seem like a really fitting book for the Sunshine Gal. In reality, I really can't think of a better fit. But when I opened the book, there was one thing that didn't really fit. It wasn't really the book. There was a passage on the front cover. And it wasn't even the note that didn't fit. There was just one word. So I'm going to read the passage, and I'm going to see if you guys can place that word. To Val, just thought you might enjoy these short stories. Love, Dawn. Dawn, what a lovely and thoughtful note. I would have expected no less. And that isn't what didn't fit. What didn't fit was how Dawn wrote the phrase short stories. And, you know, Val had a way of being a little bit more brief with her stories, but everything still had a story. When me and my wife recently moved to a new house, Val brought over a housewarming gift, a fern she had harvested from the area around her cottage. This was a native fern, and most definitely had a rustic look to it. Remember from Natasha, perfection lies in the imperfections. But Val told us the story about how it had been harvested, and from her experience that while it probably wouldn't last for more than a few years, getting new ones wouldn't be a problem, and maintaining them would be an absolute breeze. When our family got together this past Christmas, Val brought over an enormous sugar cookie cake shaped like a Christmas tree. And now this was a cake, only in spirit. In reality, it was 5 pounds of sugar cookies stacked on top of each other to look like a Christmas tree, with each towering layer glued together with tons of icing. Val had come across it, this enormous cake at DeLuca's, and once she had seen it, she immediately thought of bringing it over for the kids that would be at the dinner. When Val told us the story about her buying this cookie cake, because remember, again, everything has a story, it revolved around how accommodating and nice the people were that worked at DeLuca's. And even though she was the one that was purchasing the cake, she had somehow managed to spin the story to be that everyone around her was doing her a favor, allowing her to buy this cake. Now, you know, these are two of my stories. Dawn actually dog-eared a story in this book, a story from this book, that made him think of Val, but you know, it made me think of Val too. I'm going to read it for you. Every day I walk down the mall to get a cup of cappuccino, and every day I get hit up for spare change. Every day. The panhandlers all have these wonderful stories, but you never really know what to believe. After a while, it gets to be an irritation, and then I find myself getting upset that I'm so irritated over what is really just spare change. One day, this person came up to me and said, I just ran out of gas. My car is about 6 blocks away, and I have 2 kids in my car, and I'm just trying to get back home. And I said to myself, here we go again. But for some reason, today, I gave him $10. Then I went back on and got my cappuccino. As I was walking back to my office, I again saw the man standing by his car, which had run out of gas, ironically, right in front of my office. Seeing me, he came over and said, "Thank you, but you know what? I didn't need the full 10, and he handed me $2. Now, I find that being asked for money no longer bothers me, and I give wherever I can, every time I get a chance. Now, Val had a gas station that was close to their house in River Heights. And at this station, gas jockeys pump customers gas. Val was an independent woman, but knowing Val, I wouldn't say that she was a hands on the hips, out of principle, I will pump my own gas type of person. But she was the person to give the gas jockey a tip every single time she filled up. Rain or shine, heat or crippling cold, she didn't deviate from this small act of kindness. And come to think of it, I've never heard Val ever deviate from being the sunshine gal in her stories. No matter who she was speaking about, be it the students she worked with, the friends she had, or situations that she was in, she always had a way of seeing that sliver of sunshine when it could have been easy to focus on the clouds. One of the cool things about this book is that every story in it has a central idea. But with all of these combined, it forms a narrative and it gives the reader an opportunity to think of their own takeaway. With Val, everything had a story. And so on a day like today or any other day, take a moment and think of your Val stories and see what your takeaway is. And I will bet that there will be some sunshine.
Tell her that I love her endlessly, because love grows where my rosemary goes, and nobody knows like me. There's something about her head on her mind, it's a feeling that's fine, and I
There's going to be a time of your silence, a time for some reflection, and there will be some soft music to enable that. So that's after our next speaker, who I'd love to introduce right now, and another nephew, Joan Skelly. So, Kevin, would you come forward, please?
As to quote my aunt, I am Kevin number one. She was my godmother, my aunt, my mom's sister. And I know that we all have cherished moments, memories, and experiences from her. I'm going to share some of mine with you today, and I'm sure you'll be able to relate. The first memories I have of my aunt is during Christmas. As it's been told, she would come over, probably wanting to see the first nieces and nephews, as me and my sister were the oldest ones. Probably be there in the morning to see us open the gifts, etc., and see how excited we were. At that time, Uncle Don was brought into the picture. He did not know that he was probably getting sequestered to put together toys with my dad, stay up, and it probably didn't last that long until he found out that Kevin here would get up at 3:15, 4 o'clock. There wasn't probably too much sleep happening there, but nonetheless, Val was always wanting to be with family. And every Christmas, even till now, it was about not the gift itself, but the thought of the gift. If it was a handmade, knitted scarf or toque, or a stained glass piece of art, or just a trivial gift that she found at a store somewhere, it was always a meaning for that individual person. And for people here that either worked with her, knew her as a friend, you would know that about Val. She was always thinking about you. Christmas always brought us together, and it always gave her a time to try out her new camera that she had no clue how to work, but she always wanted to take a picture with it. So it was trying to organize everybody into a good scene. You've seen a few of those pictures up on the screen. It would take twice as long for her to take the picture because she was so proud about this new camera she found. And she would always have a thought of making sure we have memories of those moments. And the thought of having that album given to us year after year of new memories. And she was always thinking about those things. Other memories I have, and I'm sure that Uncle Don can relate, my sister and I would go over there for sleepovers. I think because they wanted us, or I'm not sure if my mom forced them to take us. Me, probably was a forced thing. And I have vivid memories of these houses that they had because they were so great houses. And I'm sure that many people in here have visited the house on Strathcona or on Brock. And my memories are of them always being welcoming to us and having things for us to do. And my aunt wasn't as good a cook as my mom, as she always said, but she would try. And she would, we'd go over there and my sister and I would, have movies and popcorn, and we'd ask for milkshakes. And "What kind of milkshake do you want?" Auntie Val would say. "Well, my mom makes banana milkshakes." And my aunt would just want to step it up and, "Well, we'll make you a strawberry banana milkshake," just to try to outdo my mom. Val was always willing, and Uncle Don probably was taking us on as well. She would take us, not because she was forced with my mom, but she wanted to have us in her life, have experiences with family. And once the family grew, it was important to her to have all of us together at many occasions. Val taught me, as well as the other siblings that she had, except for my mom, who wasn't a teacher. My uncle John was a teacher, she was a teacher. I was a teacher. Nephews, my sister, were all teachers. And we learned a lot of things from Val. And one of my memories was Val taking me downhill skiing with R.B. Russell School. And I was thinking, like, wow, 6 o'clock on a Thursday night, she would load up all these kids and do this because she wanted to. And I was pretty impressed. And it just spoke to how she wanted to be involved, not just with the kids to teach to get a paycheck, but to make sure that these kids that she worked with had experiences. The one thing that I see, and it is hard for me to look at, and I do see it now when I see my daughters that are similar ages apart from Val and Joan, how important sisters are. And I know my mom's going to miss Val because she was her best friend, her confidant. I'm sure she complained about me quite a bit, and I've done many things to complain about. But I know that having a sister was very important to my mom. What can we take away from Val? We could take away the love that she gave to our family, how important she was to all of our lives. And we can all remember her for the positive things that she brought to everybody. I'm going to miss her.
We are all going to leave this place today. We're going to go out to our cars. We may be going home. And you may say to another person, boy, that was a really nice event. I'm glad I went to that event. But I want to say to you, now comes the challenge. Were you challenged by this woman's life? How will you honor Val's memory? How will you honor and celebrate this woman's life? We had 3 speakers. We had a video montage. We had stories read to us. Each one of these speakers and each one of these stories is a challenge to you and I. So my question is, firstly, one day you too will be as Val is today. What will be said of you? Honor this woman. I want to pick out 3 words. Have the ability to say thank you. When Val said thank you to people, you really had a sense that your presence in her life made a difference. How many of you today have forgotten to say thank you, or miss out, or say, I should have said thank you? This woman challenges you to say thank you. Thank you. Sunshine. Oh man. That is this woman. Are you a sunshine person? Or are you a person who walks around looking at their feet? Or are you a person that walks around looking for the negative, for what's wrong, for what's bad? Are you a person who looks up and with your sunshine is saying, come on to me? Life is indeed a joy. It all is a process of becoming a person. So Val challenges you and I today that when we leave this place, to lift our head up. More. Is your life a gift? Val gifted from the ridiculous to the sublime. Are you a gifter? Are you able to reach out, enfold, and welcome? So this woman's life is a challenge to all of us. It's not just something to be remembered, but it's something to be practiced. And I want to introduce one last speaker today. He's bubbling in the background. I'd like Kendon, if he'd come forward, please. I'll just stand over here. I'll go back here. Say hi. Say hi, Kendon. This day is about Val, but it's also about Kendon.
There you go. Can you wave? Can you say hello?
No.
Can you say hi?
Hello, there we go.
Can you say hello? Can you wave hi?
And why is it about Kendon? Because Val's life was about nurture. And new life requires nurture, right, Kendon?
Yeah.
Yeah. New life requires love.
Did you give your card?
Life requires affirmation. It requires acceptance,
Can Daddy have your truck?
unconditional welcome and love. Yes, I agree. Absolutely. Any more to say?
Do I say hi?
Okay.
Hi, there we go. We got our hi.
Thank you very much, Kendon. Let's give him a round of As you are able, I invite you to be upstanding, if you will, please. I'm going to give you some words to say, and when you say them, I want you to make the roof of this building vibrate. If it doesn't, I'm coming after you. These are the words I want us all to say. Well done, Val. Thank you. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Well done, Val. Thank you. Hallelujah. Would you please be seated? Michael Bublé.
Every dance with the guy who gives you the eye, let him hold you tight. And you can smile, every smile for the man who held your hand beneath the pale moonlight. But don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. Oh, I know that the music's fine, like sparkling wine. Go and have your fun, laugh and sing. But while we're apart, don't give your heart to anyone. And don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. So, darling, save the last dance for me. Baby, don't you know I love you so? Can't you feel it when we touch? I will never, never let you go. I love you oh so much. You can dance and go and carry on till the night is gone and it's time to go. If he asks if you're all alone, can he walk you home? You must tell him no. 'Cause don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. Save the last dance for me. I know that the music's fine, like sparkling wine. Go and have your fun, laugh and sing. But while we're apart, don't give your heart to anyone. And don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the